Sprint cars take the spotlight today on Speedway Showcase. In this episode, we travel west to the Ransomville Speedway, where the Patriot Sprint Tour competitors prepare for their only visit to the Big R this year. It's a track that requires a good setup, determination, and incredible guts to conquer. Who will park it in victory lane tonight? Let's find out next on Speedway Showcase. It's a beautiful night for racing. The wings are on, and we're ready to put the hammer down. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speedway Showcase. My name is Rich Fleck, and we're here today in Western New York, the Ransomville Speedway, known as the Big R, for the only stop of the year for the Patriot Sprint Tour. Alongside me is Doug Elkins, and Doug, anytime the wing things are here, it's a treat, and tonight we've got one.
It is here. Ransomville is a true paperclip shaped track. They've got brand new clay that they brought in this year. Corners are tight, the grooves are fast. This is going to be a good time with race number 3 for the Patriot Sprint Tour.
And the first 2 races were good ones as well. This racetrack, though, is what makes this place so unique. And for more on that, let's go down to the track and our third man, Cowboy Paul Small.
Guys, racetracks are usually known for a signature item, usually something on the concession menu. Ransomville is known for 2 things. They have the fried bologna sandwiches called flat dogs on their concession menu, and this 4/10 of a mile banked clay racetrack. And they have been putting the water to it big time today because, well, this is the only place in New York State that didn't get thunderstorms. So this track is going to be bad fast tonight. And for the sprint car drivers, you got to watch those concrete walls on the outside of the turns. They are extremely unforgiving.
Well, Doug, if the character of this racetrack is one of the stars, there's a number of them in the pit area.
There sure are. Boy, you should be smelling what we're smelling right now. Getting a lot of methanol here from these sprint cars. But a great field, like you said. You've got Chuck Hebing, a former champion, Scott Kruder, Tommy Wickham, guys who have been turning laps in sprint cars for decades. Then you've got a lot of young guys that are hungry too. Paulie Cole Giovanni, second generation Jordan Thomas. Going to be a lot of fun to see how they mix it up on this tacky racetrack here tonight.
A lot of good cars. Only one of the drivers, though, has ever gone to victory lane here at Ransomville. It's Chuck Hebing. He's got 6 of those wins. We talked to some of these drivers, though, about why they're here, why they like Ransomville and getting around this nasty 4/10 of a mile racetrack.
I really like this place. I like the surface they give us, and I like the speed of this place, too. It's big, fast, roomy track.
Ransomville's a pretty big track. I like the turns because turn 1's a little bit different than turn 2, but hopefully tonight the track turns out tacky like it was when I raced the Outlaws.
It seems like it's been fast the last couple times we've been here. We've had some good runs, and hopefully we keep it going tonight.
In the beginning, it starts off real heavy, and then as the night progresses, it slicks off pretty good. And we struggle on the slick tracks a little bit, and hopefully we'll get it figured out tonight.
Ransomville is a really cool track. It's got long straightaways, kind of tight corners. You notice a lot of people that haven't been here before, they find turn 1 and 2 wall pretty quick. But the outside's fun to run, and hopefully we can get it done here.
I like Ransomville quite a bit. We've had great success here. It's a tough track with the walls and stuff, but good place to come, close to home.
I think it's great. I love it. It's home.
It is home for Scott Just, but unfortunately the Ransomville resident not starting off on the right foot, Doug, as he planted it in the turn 4 wall just a moment ago here in hot laps.
Well, that's the worst thing. Hot laps, you haven't even turned a lap in the heat race, and you got to work on the car. Just a horrible way to start the day for Scott Just.
And again, his only opportunity is here tonight to run in front of his hometown fans, and you can see they're going to have some work to do to get that rear axle back in place after the hard smack with the concrete wall. We'll see if he's able to make it out for one of the 3 qualifying heat races, which we are going to have at the other side of this break. You're watching Speedway Showcase from the Ransomville Speedway.
Verdi is your on-site storage solution throughout New York State. We provide a variety of on-site storage and office products for commercial, residential, and industrial customers. We stock an array of units for rent, lease, or purchase, and provide prompt on-site delivery. We're family-owned and been in business for over 35 years. Verdi Storage Containers. Storage and office solutions delivered.
Expertise and experience are what get Mike M. Huff Motorsports customers to victory lane. Join their winning team today. With a complete inventory of the best sprint car chassis, parts, and fuel, the only place to visit is Mike M. Huff Motorsports.
It's been 60 years in the making in Niagara County. Competition, excitement, teamwork, and family-friendly fun await you at Ransomville Speedway, where Friday nights in Western New York takes on a whole different meaning. Fans and spectators alike have come out to see hairpin turns and heart-pounding action at the #1 dirt track on the Niagara frontier, Ransomville Speedway. Come out and witness history in the making at Ransomville Speedway off Braley Road, or get your tickets at ransomvillespeedway.com today.
We're ready to get heat race number 1 underway for the Patriot Sprint Tour here at the Ransomville Speedway, the hometown track for pole sitter Derek Jonathan, who our Paul Small caught up with earlier to discuss running just a few miles from his home in nearby Lewiston.
For many of the Patriot Sprint Tour drivers, a stop at Ransomville means a stop at home, and such is the case with this driver, Derek Jonathan. Is it nice to be on home turf?
Oh, it's always great to be on home turf. You know, doing the tour. You know, you're traveling long hours, and you know you're going all kinds of different tracks. But it's fun. It's good to see other racetracks, and you know, being home, it's always great. And you know, you look forward to this race because you know a lot of family and friends come and watch. So definitely excited for this one tonight.
And again, Derek's got a great opportunity starting on the outside of the pole for the driver that was 5th in PST points last year. And Doug, when you run the Patriot Sprint Tour, it is passing points that are being used. And with the whole field able to make the show tonight, the focus is getting in the top 8 redraw.
That's true. And, of course, the passing points like he talks about, there's a format in place, 5th to 2nd, things like that. And there's also a nice provision in place for if you're on the pole and you lead every lap. So, and you can see just 5 cars in this one and a nice mix of drivers who are still getting experience. And, of course, you've got that man on the outside of row 2, Chuck Hebing.
Couple drivers not able to start this race. Scott Kruder and Scott Just both having mechanical issues. We saw Scott's earlier in the hot laps. This is 8 laps in distance, and the top 2 will be locked in to the redraw because it is a 20-car field that is here tonight at Ransomville. And already up to 2nd is the Cobra, Chuck Hebing, the only driver in the field tonight that has won a sprint car event here at the Big R.
And Scott Kruder, just to put something on that, I was in their pit area earlier. They had the hood off, so they are looking at some engine problems right now. But how about Derek Jonathan? This is the track he wants to do well at. He's leading. It's good he doesn't have a rear-view mirror right now. Rich, he might get a little nervous.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. But right now, out in front of the field, he did win the heat race in this event last year that we saw on Speedway Showcase. So trying to go 2 years in a row here in the June show and has a solid advantage. And that's the beautiful thing. We talked to Derek about this earlier, and he said, what's the biggest thing when it comes to sprint car racing? He said, get it out in front, getting clean air, and hitting your marks. He's doing that right now. He likes the tacky racetracks. 2 career wins at the Ashwegan Speedway on their weekly competition.
And if anything, you can see he is stretching it out right now over Chuck Hebing. Thought the way those first couple of laps were going that Chuck was setting him up, but as you can see, Hebing falling back just a little bit. Jonathan maybe using a little bit of that local knowledge to run some real nice laps. You can see he's right up on that cushion.
Chuck Hebing, who was the champion for the first time with the Patriots in 2006. That was Derek Jonathan's rookie season of sprint car competition. Hebing, the most recent winner on the PST Tour over at the Albany-Saratoga Speedway. We also saw him run very well in the event at the Land of Legends. In our last Speedway Showcase show, he knows 4th to 2nd is going to be good enough to make the redraw. So right now, kind of biding his time, but I don't think he can run down Derek, or else he would have, as there are 2 laps left to go.
Well, Chuck's a competitor, too. That's the thing. I mean, you mentioned it's right. You know, you can pick up a couple of spots and know you're in pretty good shape for the A-main, but you want to push the car just enough to see what you've got, too. And if anything, Chuck might see that slower car in front and say, maybe here's my opportunity right now.
And that is the Jeremy Barner, number 86 lap car, and he's going to go to the outside. No. The Cobra makes the move and put the 45 out in front of Derek Jonathan. Jonathan should still be able to make the redraw, but the heat race win is going to go to Chuck Hebing, his 3rd straight race here at Ransomville that he wins a qualifier.
And you can see Jonathan hesitate just for a second coming up on that slower car, and sometimes that's all it takes.
So as Chuck Hebing gets the win, we saw his daughter Kelly in competition last year. Here's another family of the Patriots.
You often hear that racing is a family sport. Well, this family is definitely involved, and the patriarch of it is the guy they call the motorized madman, Darrell Ruggles. You're racing, and your whole family is involved in one form or another here.
Well, I mean, that's how I grew up. My whole family was involved. I started with all my brothers and all my, my sisters. Everybody was involved in racing, and then when I just continued racing, when they all quit racing, my kids didn't have any place else to go but to the racetrack, so they kind of grew up with it. And, when the kids weren't even born, my wife used to be in the car to adjust valves, so they learned before they were even born that they were going to sit in a race car quite often.
And one of those kids that happens to be Alicia Bay. Alicia, you've had a couple of almost wins already this season in a 305.
Yeah, we're having a really good season at the Land of Legends Raceway in Canandaigua. It's been fun. I've had a second, 2 seconds, and a third. So out of 3 races, that's pretty good.
And when I say the whole family, Daryl's wife, Wendy, is busy working on the setup, and she's helping out the Patriot Sprint Tour officials. And Alicia's younger sister happens to be Miss Patriot Sprint Tour.
Certainly all in the family, and they're going to be right together in this one. You see Alicia's going to start the pink car in 3rd, and Daryl's going to start back in 7th. Open draw format utilized here for the Patriots, so Daryl's going to have some work to do back in that 7th spot.
And he might be able to sit there and say, I try not to race my daughter differently, but that's his daughter. He's going to be watching what she's doing in front of him. It's got to be tough for him at times.
Tommy Wickham and Kyle Drum on the front row of this one. A good solid field, and again, passing points being utilized, so the top 2 know they're going to make the redraw, but anybody that starts basically 3rd on back knows the top 3 will get them a top 8 starting spot in the feature. We're going to ride out the back of Kyle Drum's potent number 47. He's going to lead the field on the outside, but it's Wickham, Tommy Wickham, leading him into turn number 1 on the inside, and he will slide up in front of Drum and take the lead away. And look at this battle, 3rd on back.
Daryl Ruggles loves the outside. Let's see what he can do. That's Stephen Hutchinson right there in the black and yellow number 2 making a move there. He'll come up on Alicia Ruggles. As you can see, Daryl kind of laying back here a little bit, kind of seeing how things shake out as he makes a move on the bottom.
And Dave Just, he gets punched out of line there. Just is another local. A lot of families in this Patriot Sprint Tours we've been harping on all night long, and Daryl's been able to get by him for the number 6 spot, but he really needs to get to 4th to feel good about making the redraw, and right now his daughter Alicia has that spot. Daryl's going to get by Stephen Hutchinson for the number 5 position and set his sights on his daughter looking to the outside.
Yeah, and like we said, he's going to try to get around her cleanly. Boy, that was fast. Just went right around the outside of her, and that was it. So Ruggles from the tail now up to 2nd place.
And Alicia, we mentioned Alicia Ruggles. It is Alicia Bay. She is married.
Yes.
Has a kid, so that would be the explanation on that. And up to the front we go. Tommy Wickham and Kyle Drum. You talk to both of these drivers, ask them what their favorite sprint car track is. They say Ransomville, and they're showing why right now out in front.
2 very distinct grooves here on this track right now. You can see Wickham, of course, usually likes the top. You can see Drum kind of shutting it down. Took a look that time on the inside of turn 2. Could not make the move, and if anything, I think he lost a little ground there.
Both of these drivers, in their last appearance here, won a heat race and finished 3rd in the feature. Tommy Wickham hasn't been here in 2 years. Kyle Drum's finishes here last year, 2nd and 3rd. So that goes to show you why he likes the Big R so much. Wickham slides up the speedway a little bit, and that's going to allow Drum to try to capitalize down on the inside.
Yeah, there's not really a heavy cushion up there yet, so you can see every time that Tommy Wickham goes up the track, he seems to run just a little bit higher. But the nice thing with that line he's running, he can pick up the throttle real quick and keep Drum back behind him.
Kyle Drum, one of the original Patriots, ran in the inaugural season of 2003 and finished 2nd in points, is going to come home in 2nd as Tommy Wickham scores his 2nd career heat race win here at Ransomville. And looks like Dan Bennett's going to finish in 3rd with Daryl Ruggles in 4th.
For him.
Notice the chiclet. Daryl Ruggles should be able to make the redraw with that run. So good job for him, as all the green chicleted cars will be able to make that top 8 redraw based on their move forward. Well, these cars are always advancing in so many ways. Safety is another big part of these sprint cars, and our Paul Small has something in our Tech Minute.
We often talk about safety innovations in racing and how far things have come over the past few years. One of the things we haven't covered is the actual driver's seat in the race car. Now, it used to be back in the day that racers had just a bucket seat that only came up to maybe about this high, offered a little bit of rip protection, and then this piece was basically flat for the back of the head. Not anymore. Drivers are using what's called a full containment seat. This is a metal version on Josh Ozzie's car. It has the shoulder protection here, as well as a head cradle and a head restraint on the right-hand side. Now, this is the current generation of containment seat, but some drivers are moving on to what is now the next generation. It's not made of metal, it's made of carbon fiber, the same material used in Formula One race cars. Scott Gruder has one of these containment seats in his race car, and you can see rather than individual pieces welded or bolted together, this is one molded piece with the full shoulder protection, the head cradle, And of course, you have the areas where the belts come in, the lap belt, and then of course the shoulder harness at shoulder height. And there's also a notch up here if you use a head and neck restraint. This is top of the line safety.
It's great to see all the advances in technology, not just making the cars faster, but making them safer. Well, we still have one heat race left to run here at Ransomville for the Patriot Sprint Tour, and we'll have it right on the other side of this break. You're watching Speedway Showcase.
The Outlaws are coming. Celebrate 40 years of the greatest show on dirt. Champions Donnie Schatz and Darren Pittman, plus Brad Sweet, Shane Stewart, Craig Kinzer, and all the World of Outlaws stars. Friday, July 27th at Ransomville Speedway. It's the Big R Outlaws Shootout with a World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. High-speed wing sprint car action. Friday, July 27th, Ransomville Speedway. Tickets at worldofoutlaws.com. Be there!
Whether you're providing power to your outdoor equipment, going on a vacation or camping trip, or ensuring your peace of mind with home standby backup power, there's no limit to the benefits of owning a Champion generator. Use a portable generator or inverter to power your lights and all your major appliances, or use a home standby generator to power your entire home during an outage. The Champion Power Equipment family of generators. Portability, power, and peace of mind.
Everything we do is in search of more go. We go, so it goes, so you can go.
It's hard to stop a train, and it's hard to find a company that stands behind their product like ENV Energy. A family business for over 100 years, we always go the extra mile. ENV Energy, done local, done right.
It's hard to stop a train.
Non-stop action, fierce battles, out-of-your-seat excitement. It's 800 horsepower of ground-shaking racing. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds are coming. Be there to witness the mighty Big Blocks. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds.
Heat Race 3 is about to get underway, and one driver hustling up to catch up to the rest of the field is Paulie Colagiovanni, a teenager that has proven his ability to go fast in his first few years in a sprint car.
The Patriot Sprint Tour is a combination of veteran drivers who have been around the sport for a while and a couple of exceptionally talented young guns like this driver, Paulie Colagiovanni. You are bad fast, my friend.
Well, we're trying this year. We definitely figured a lot of things out with setup over the past couple of years, so hopefully tonight we might be able to get a win.
You came out of the 600cc micro sprints and stepped right up to the 360s. How much of a leap was that?
It was definitely a big leap. We actually got power steering, which I didn't have in my 600s. I had a pin and racket, so my arms got really tired. But the power to weight ratio is pretty crazy, and it's a lot hard to get used to.
Paulie Colagiovanni is not afraid to go fast.
Yeah, still a high schooler and has shown his speed. And he mentioned the one thing about moving up from the micro sprints. You'd think it'd be a tough jump, and it is, but he now gets power steering, so that's a good thing.
And it sounds like a small thing, but of course, some drivers like the manual steering. They say they can feel the track more. I guess it's more of a preference than anything else.
Local Jim Porter is going to start on the pole, his first sprint car start of the year. You see Paulie Colagiovanni going to have to start at the tail of field back in 6th. Really, his key is to get up into the number 3 spot to make the redraw. As we keep talking about, the top 2 would be locked in, and we're going to ride on board with the driver of the number 10 as they come to Johnny Beach's green and lead into turn number 1.
Jim Porter, very emotional in the pit area tonight. A lot of people helped put that thing together for him. He's got a motor that he borrowed from somebody else, hoping to run somewhere in the range of about 3 or 4 shows this year.
Josh Ozzie jumps out in front of the field. The Ozman out of Cohocton, New York, is your race leader, and Porter in second. The only Pennsylvania driver in the field is sitting back in position number 3. That's Jordan Thomas. And boy, another youngster coming on, son of Jeff Spider Thomas, former sprint car driver, had a win last year at the Orange County Fair Speedway in Middletown.
Yeah, taking a lot of courses in law, and wants to eventually maybe be a state trooper somewhere down the road. Very smart man, and of course his dad, Jeff Spider Thomas, still right there with him in the pit area as we ride with Paulie looking on the outside.
And he hooks the cushion, gets around another, we spoke about Middletown, he gets around Middletown. Scott Goodrich for spot number 4 as we go back up to the battle for second. The 79 of Thomas has to get by Porter for the redraw spot, but Porter's holding him off. A driver with 11 career starts here and 5 top 10s. going back some 20 years, that is not one of the newer sprint cars in the pits, and he is still making it work.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he's doing this well. Again, he was just hoping to just get out there and run today, let alone have a solid finish. Right now he's in second, and he's got some good drivers back behind him that are working hard to get around him. Good job, Jim.
And some of you may be able to note this as we come back out. His wing is slid way back right now, where the other ones are slid forward, expecting these more tackier conditions. The reason is to loosen up the car in the case of the 79, and you can see he's standing it up, a little bit of a wheel standoff at turn number 4, and that's going to allow Paulie Colagiovanni to close in. And if Paulie gets up to third, he would have a redraw spot. Looks to the inside, and boy, that got Harry down by the Uke tires.
And that's why we love sprint cars so much. You know, you can move that wing during the race. You might have a little bit too much on the back there, making that front end a little loose. We've got just one more lap to go.
Final circuit around for Josh Ozzie, a regular with the Patriots the last few years, finished 6th in points last season, is working through turns number 3 and 4. It looks like he'll have his first career heat race win here at Ransomville.
And we just saw his seat just a minute ago. How about Jim Porter? What a nice run for him as he gets a second place.
And gets the redraw spot as well. Well, the youngsters are going to be headed to the Dash event. Yeah, we saw him earlier with his seat technology. We asked the drivers earlier, though, what other big technological advances have you seen in the last 5 years? Which one is the biggest? Which one's making the most difference? That's our question of the hour.
Boy, that's a tough one. It's a kind of a package deal. The cars have come so far. The power plants have come so far, and it's straight down to real small changes. You really got to be in your game.
Bleeders and everything that goes into the car, the aeronometer and all that.
I would say tires, because you got every race you got to have brand new tires on that car, because that's you got to get that bite, and that's where, in my opinion, is the best thing to make the car is tires.
Suspension's been huge. I mean, the engines keep getting bigger and bigger, and these guys keep finding better and better ways to make sure they grip the racetrack. So they've been really crafty with the suspension these day and age.
I would say probably the shocks. I'm doing a lot with the left rear shock. I'd say that'd probably be the biggest.
I think definitely the shocks have been a big improvement on these cars. With Slade, we've been working with them, and we've learned so much from them over the past couple of years. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Well, our motors are probably the biggest advancement, I would think. Our motors turn 8,000 plus. They don't break, pretty much all of them. The shock technology keeps going back and forth, but we're running the same stuff on shocks that we did 5 years ago. But no, I'd say motors probably the biggest thing changed.
Well, not all the divisions see a lot of difference in their motors, as the stock-powered crate sportsmen are on the racetrack right now. When we come back, it will be the Dash for Cash, so don't go anywhere.
Non-stop action, fierce battles, out-of-your-seat excitement. It's 800 horsepower of ground-shaking racing. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds are coming. Be there to witness the mighty Big Blocks. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds.
Verdi is your on-site storage solution throughout New York State. We provide a variety of on-site storage and office products for commercial, residential, and industrial customers. We stock an array of units for rent, lease, or purchase, and provide prompt on-site delivery. We're family-owned and been in business for over 35 years. Verdi Storage Containers. Storage and office solutions delivered.
It's been 60 years in the making in Niagara County. Competition, excitement, teamwork, and family-friendly fun await you at Ransomville Speedway, where Friday nights in Western New York takes on a whole different meaning. Fans and spectators alike have come out to see hairpin turns and heart-pounding action at the #1 dirt track on the Niagara frontier, Ransomville Speedway. Come out and witness history in the making at Ransomville Speedway off Braley Road, or get your tickets at ransomvillespeedway.com today.
Expertise and experience are what get Mike M. Huff Motorsports customers to victory lane. Join their winning team today. With a complete inventory of the best sprint car chassis, parts, and fuel, the only place to visit is Mike M. Huff Motorsports.
Back here at the beautiful Ransomville Speedway in Western New York, just a little north of Buffalo, where the Patriot Sprint Tour is running their Dash for Cash. Doug, it's a 4-lap event that takes drivers that weren't in their best position in the heat race. They're going to start 9th through 14th in the feature, but how they start will be determined on where they finish in this 4-lap race.
Yeah, pretty much a race within a race right here, because the way they finish here, if you can pass this driver in front of you in this B, then you don't have to worry about them in the feature. But some good names in this group right here as well. And Paulie Colagiovanni, who we just talked to a second ago on the outside of the front row, with another young guy in Jordan Thomas.
Yep, both of them have one career 360 sprint car win, and they're going to light it up coming down the front stretch. And boy, it's just great to hear those motors sing off in turn number 1 and 2. And Paulie Colagiovanni is out in front. You know he's been around for a few years now, Doug, that we're getting used to how to say his name.
Yeah, at first it was not as easy, but yeah, you're right. And the other thing here is look at how much the track has changed from where we were earlier, Rich. Remember we talked how there wasn't a big cushion? Now there is at the top side of the speedway. So what that does is it allows those drivers to attack the corner a little more, go in a little deeper, hook that cushion with the right rear, and it can turn some quicker laps.
Especially these fearless youngsters, these guys that just love going and hanging it up on the cushion and having that speed at their right throttle. You can see how Paulie's car leaning over on the left-hand side, how much that top wing and all the suspension components along with the big right rear are helping to drive that car down on the left-hand side and just hook up on the cushion, although he gets a couple of wheels above into the darker dirt. But he's already on the final lap and looks like he'll have the 9th starting spot in tonight's feature event sewn up.
And those of you that watch the movie Cars, you see about turning right to go left. Perfect example right there with Paulie.
So he gets the win, and Jordan Thomas able to finish in second. The rest of the field will start 11th on back, as Paulie can now go, okay, I got 4 more extra laps to feel out what this track is doing.
And that's a big thing. A lot of times the drivers, you'll sit there and go, oh, you made the dash. That's a tough break, but extra track time to see how things are going.
Well, a few drivers were still in the pit area. They won their heat races, and Paul talked to them earlier.
The track was real fast, and we were just getting a lot of bite out there. It was real heavy for practice, so we set her up pretty loose and seemed to work.
The car was good. I started on the pole, obviously, and ran up on the top side. That's where I pretty much like to run. And I saw the 47 get down and put his nose in there, so I had to change my lineup in order to capitalize on the win.
Yeah, the 81 had a good car in that heat race. I wasn't going to be able to get around him. It was a little choppy in the corners up high. I didn't dare push it. And he lifted for the lap car for me and let me go by, so it was nice of him.
I want you to hold up what you've got in your hand here and tell everybody what you discovered on the car after the heat race.
Right rear brake line fitting in the caliper has a little leak on it, so we're going to fitting was cracked. We're going to change the fitting, and we should be good to go.
Well, as the heat race winners relax in the pit area, Dash winner Paulie Colagiovanni soaks up the accolades in the revitalized victory lane here at Ransomville. For more on the improvements going on here at the Big R, let's hear from Paul, who caught up with the Speedway's general manager just a moment ago.
Last year was Jen Martin's maiden voyage in the GM slot here at Ransomville Speedway. Does the year make a difference?
A huge difference. What a difference. I've learned so much the last year. My confidence level this year is so much better, and I'm working so well with the fans, the drivers, area people like yourselves, and I'm just so excited for this year.
And the improvements of the track haven't stopped.
No, they continue. We laid new clay on the track. We had a brand new pit barn this year where we actually just ordered new lighting, so we'll have new lighting on the track very soon. And we're going to be working on a handicap section pretty soon as well. So, yep, they continue.
And, of course, the World of Outlaws sprint cars are coming back.
Yes, they are. Friday, July 27th, the World of Outlaws sprint cars will be here, and we're super excited to have them back.
That's Jen Martin, our GM here at Ransomville.
Josh Ozzie is the lucky recipient of the pole position. You see him drawing the number 1 spot just a moment ago. Let's hear from the pole sitter who will lead the field to green here tonight.
Best seat in the house tonight for Josh Ozzie because you drew the pole for tonight's A-Main.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do with it. There's going to be a lot of fast guys behind us, but we've had a strong run, and hopefully we can keep it going here.
You think the outside's going to be the way to go?
Absolutely. There's a nice cushion up there, so that's where we're going to be running.
Well, Josh knows where he is going to run, and that's what the fans want to see, as there is nothing like a sprint car running up against the wall here at the Big R and flirting with disaster. The feature field is now set. The green flag drops on the A-Main next, here on Speedway Showcase.
Reserve your campsite and get your pre-sale tickets online for Hall of Fame weekend at Weedsport Speedway. On Saturday, July 28th, it's the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modified Hall of Fame 100, presented by BMAX Sales and Service and powered by Page Trucking. On Sunday, July 29th, catch the Craftsman World of Outlaw Sprints and the Empire State Challenge, presented by Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Northern New England. See you at the port for Hall of Fame weekend.
Whether you're providing power to your outdoor equipment, going on a vacation or camping trip, or ensuring your peace of mind with home standby backup power, there's no limit to the benefits of owning a Champion generator. Use a portable generator or inverter to power your lights and all your major appliances, or use a home standby generator to power your entire home during an outage. The Champion Power Equipment family of generators. Portability, power, and peace of mind.
Everything we do is in search of more go. We go, so it goes, so you can go.
It's hard to stop a train, and it's hard to find a company that stands behind their product like ENV Energy. A family business for over 100 years, we always go the extra mile. ENV Energy, done local, done right.
It's hard to stop a train.
The field is rolling on to the racetrack for tonight's 25-lap Patriot Sprint Tour A Main. Just a moment ago, our Paul Small was trackside to give us one final report on how the race surface looks before the green flag drops here tonight at the Big R.
Guys, we have a perfect track for sprint car racing tonight. The inside lane is smooth and it's starting to slick off here a little bit. Some drivers will set up to run on that dry slick. Other drivers, they're going to be up there banging the cushion, and that cushion is in fantastic shape. It looks like it should hold up through the whole 25-lap distance.
And the familiar four-wide salute for any sprint car touring series. See him coming across the front stretch. And a beautiful sight. The only Patriot Sprint Tour event of the season here at Ransomville. Doug, about the only racetrack that has run a Patriot race for all 16 years in the series history.
I didn't know that. So nice that they come back home to race here. Like we said, one of the more unique tracks around. Here's who we're riding with. Kyle Drum. Love this angle out the front. We can see what his hands are doing. Scott Kruder, who also spends some time running mini sprint races, works at a local go-kart track during the week. So he's racing pretty much 24/7.
His first start this year in that race car, though, so he's happy to be out in a 360, although he will have to start back in the pack after not being able to run in the heat race. We saw the redraw, saw Josh Ozzie land the pole position, and interesting to note, got guys like Kyle Drum, Daryl Ruggles, and Chuck Heaving that were at the back of the redraw. So Chuck Heaving got the worst redraw possible. Position number 8 kind of handicaps the field when you think of it.
Yeah, really, when you think about it. Also, if you polled those 7 drivers in front of him, that's exactly where they want him. It's starting in the worst possible spot. Saw some of the B-main cars there, Scott Kruder and Scott Just, who each had problems. Kruder under the hood, Just wrecked a car during hot laps and had to switch to a backup.
And actually will not be able to start as the car would not remain firing, so we're going to have him pit side as the green flag comes out. The Averdye A-main underway, and the Ozman, Josh Ozzie, jumps out in front of the field with Dan Bennett in the X, going from third up to second. Here comes Tommy Wickham in the 75 as the field works down the backstretch for the first time.
Nice story for Dan Bennett. Primarily runs 305s at Land of Legends. Occasionally does some 360 stuff. This car has a very unique rear suspension in it, and he's still learning, and obviously likes the car so far as he's running in second. Although I think they just lost seconds.
I think he's looking for it right now. Down to the inside, going for the race lead is the X of Dan Bennett. A local driver from Lockport looks to the inside, and he is locked down, and he is the new race leader. Dan Bennett, leading his first ever laps in a Patriot Sprint Tour A-main, is out in front of the field.
Very nice move there by Bennett. Here is Daryl Ruggles looking to the inside of Tommy Wickham. Right there with him on the outside is the Cobra, Chuck Heaving.
75 of Wickham runs in fourth. Look at Heaving to the outside. Looks like he may take that away And right now hangs in spot number 5 after starting in 8th just 3 laps ago. Ozzy up the racetrack as we've got a change for the lead. Kyle Drum is out in front in car number 47, and it's not going to count. As Scott Goodrich has spun, that lap's not going to be taken, so Bennett is going to remain the race leader. Scott Goodrich, one of the drivers making the long tow from down past the Catskills in Middletown to be here tonight. And that'll put us under a yellow with 3 laps complete, but we still got a lot of racing left to go here from the Ransomville Speedway right after this.
Verdi is your on-site storage solution throughout New York State. We provide a variety of on-site storage and office products for commercial, residential, and industrial customers. We stock an array of units for rent, lease, or purchase, and provide prompt on-site delivery. We're family-owned and been in business for over 35 years. Verdi Storage Containers. Storage and office solutions delivered.
What are you doing Saturday night? We'll go into the Genesee Speedway, of course. Conveniently located at the Genesee County Fairgrounds in Batavia, Genesee Speedway features 6 action-packed classes battling it out on the tight 1/3 mile. Whether it's the late models, sportsmen, street stocks, or mini stocks, racing is must-see. If you haven't been to Genesee, you are missing out on the wide-swept improvements to the grounds. So plan your next trip to Batavia before the checkered flag falls on the season.
Expertise and experience are what get Mike M. Huff Motorsports customers to victory lane. Join their winning team today. With a complete inventory of the best sprint car chassis, parts, and fuel, the only place to visit is Mike M. Huff Motorsports.
It's been 60 years in the making in Niagara County. Competition, excitement, teamwork, and family-friendly fun await you at Ransomville Speedway, where Friday nights in Western New York takes on a whole different meaning. Fans and spectators alike have come out to see hairpin turns and heart-pounding action at the #1 dirt track on the Niagara frontier, Ransomville Speedway. Come out and witness history in the making at Ransomville Speedway off Braley Road, or get your tickets at ransomvillespeedway.com today.
3 laps complete here at the Ransomville Speedway for the Patriot Sprint Tour. Dan Bennett has taken the race lead, but does he have a problem with his race car? Let's send it down to Paul Small for a report.
Maybe problems for the X car of Dan Bennett. The front of that nose wing is lifted up higher than it should be, and that means that he's going to be getting lift on the front of the car and not the angle of downforce that he's looking for. Could affect the handling on the race car as we continue here in this A feature.
Yeah, it might actually be the rear posts that are hurting that race car, but lift is not what you want because it'll hurt the car when you want to make it turn. It will tighten him up though, so he may have to change his line. A single file restart utilized for the Patriots, and Kyle Drum looking to capitalize, goes down to the inside, and look at Chuck Heaving 5th to 3rd.
Wow, he is coming up through the field fast, and with Bennett, you know, that front wing being flat like it is almost is also going to affect the way that the air goes on the top wing.
So here comes Kyle Drum. He almost had the pass before the caution came out just a moment ago for Scott Goodrich, but he was not able to drive by. As you can see, Bennett drive off the bottom of the racetrack, and that actually helped him having the car a little bit tighter. Now Heaving up into the #2 spot. Look at him lean over on the left-hand side. The Cobra hooks it up on the cushion, and the winningest driver in Patriot history is out in front of the field.
3rd to 1st in 1 lap by using the outside. All set up by the way he came out of turn 2. Actually went above the cushion so that he could jump on the gas quicker. Here's a guy on the move. Paulie Colagiovanni in the blue and white #10 on the outside of Darryl Ruggles.
Looking to do the same thing, but Ruggles will drive back down to the inside. Looks like you can get some bite off the bottom of turn #4. Right now they're battling for the #6 spot. They both moved up a little bit since the drop of the green flag, and Colagiovanni crosses underneath them as they work down into turn #3, and Ruggles will come around and lock up the brakes just before the rest of the field gets on by. Boy, that got a little hairy back there in the field, but Ruggles, the veteran, with an issue here on lap #7.
Got to wonder if something happened to the car. I mean, we saw him move up quickly in turn 2, but either that or maybe lost some air off one of the spoilers or something. I don't know. Let's see figure out what happened here.
Yeah, we'll check in. It looks like he had the car cranked to the left a little early. Perhaps he was thrown off in his direction. It was facing the outside wall, but you see the car turn left maybe a little bit more than it wants, maybe some air, Doug. Hard to say, but rare to see. Darrell Ruggles in his 5 career starts here at Ransomville, 4 top 8 finishes, and he's going to have some work to do to get the 48 back up front as he gets pushed off. You take a look underneath the start-finish line, you see the moat, and that's always a characteristic thing about this racetrack that Paul documented about earlier.
Moats aren't just for castles anymore. Ransomville Speedway is famous for the moat outside the front stretch. What are we talking about? Well, check this out. This is the edge of the front stretch here, and you step down into what is known as the moat. This used to be a dirt bank, but it's now been replaced by a concrete wall. Now, many times in the history of Ransomville Speedway, there have been passes made in this moat, including in sprint car races.
It's the great thing with Ransomville. It's got tough, challenging walls up on the top of the racetrack, but you got to hit your marks coming off of turn 4, because if you get down in that moat, everything's going the wrong way.
Yeah, and I've seen drivers actually make passes down there, and I've seen others who have come up out of the moat and gotten airborne as well. It's not as deep as it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, but that when you talk to drivers about Ransomville, that's one of the first things they talk about.
Yes, absolutely. So Dan Bennett restarts in second. You see that nose wing probably looks even worse now. And it looks like Kyle Drum knows he needs to get to the outside. Chuck Heaving pulls away. You could even see right there Bennett's car lift up. The front tires coming off the ground as his aerodynamic package a little bit different. Drum, who has done well, as we talked about last year, second and third in the 2 events for the Patriots, right here at Ransomville, right up there in the podium positions again. And look at Josh Ozzie and Holy Colagiovanni. Wow, scrapping it up.
Ozzie went to the bottom. Colagiovanni tried to follow him through and then tried to get him right back. And you see that big saw, the wheel he did right there. That cost him about 2 car lengths.
And how about Tommy Wickham? He was about to go back to 6th. He's up to 4th. And it looks like Kyle Drum has finally got by Dan Bennett.
Or has he?
For the number 2 spot. Bennett, this is where he's at. Oh, and he's going to get another caution. Steve Glover around. Yellow flag is out, so again, Kyle Drum can't get by Dan Bennett. Unlucky for him, unlucky for the former modified driver out of Rochester, Steve Glover. Our 3rd caution here with 9 laps complete, and we'll take a quick break and get the rest of this feature done when we come back here from Ransomville.
The Outlaws are coming. Celebrate 40 years of the greatest show on dirt. Champions Donnie Schatz and Darren Pittman, plus Brad Sweet, Shane Stewart, Craig Kinzer, and all the World of Outlaws stars. Friday, July 27th at Ransomville Speedway. It's the Big R Outlaw Shootout with a World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. High-speed wing sprint car action. Friday, July 27th, Ransomville Speedway. Tickets at worldofoutlaws.com. Be there!
Everything we do is in search of more go. We go, so it goes, so you can go.
It's hard to stop a train, and it's hard to find a company that stands behind their product like ENV Energy. A family business for over 100 years, we always go the extra mile. ENV Energy, done local, done right.
It's hard to stop a train.
It's been 60 years in the making in Niagara County. Competition, excitement, teamwork, and family-friendly fun await you at Ransomville Speedway, where Friday nights in Western New York takes on a whole different meaning. Fans and spectators alike have come out to see hairpin turns and heart-pounding action at the #1 dirt track on the Niagara frontier, Ransomville Speedway. Come out and witness history in the making at Ransomville Speedway off Braley Road, or get your tickets at ransomvillespeedway.com today.
1 lap until we get back to green flag racing here for the Patriot Sprint Tour at the Ransomville Speedway. And there's your running order. 9 laps complete. Chuck Heaving has taken the lead in the last 4 circuits, and Dan Bennett still holding off Kyle Drum.
Yeah, it's twice now. People have driven around him, and the caution has come out, and he's been able to get his spot back. So, and he's got to be wondering also, like we noticed with his front wing, what is wrong with my race car right now?
Another guy we just documented right there to keep an eye on, Scott Kruder, started back in 19th. He is up to 8th.
Wow.
And again, we still have 16 laps left to go, so the straight shooter Scott Kruder is looking to move forward here for his first trip to Ransomville in the last 4 years, as he will lead him to green. And again, you see the single file formation. They got to get by the orange cone on the front stretch, and into turn number 1 and 2 they go. Heaving up on the top, Bennett on the bottom. And I've seen drivers do well with a bad nose wing before. I remember back in 2004 here, Dave Schultz, the old Pro Stock competitor, had the wing flip all the way backwards. He still finished in 3rd. Guess who won the feature that night?
It was him?
Chuck Heaving.
Chuck Heaving.
Yeah.
So there we go right there. I don't know where you were going for that at first. Look at Kyle Drum saying, didn't I do this move before? As he goes to the outside of Bennett. A camouflage tribute car for the U.S. Army, by the way, for Dan Bennett. He was an Air Force veteran himself, but has some folks on his crew who he's trying to honor with that tonight.
And you say Air Force guy who used to be sponsored by them, gets into the number 2 spot. Kyle Drum gets on, and here comes the 75 of Tommy Wickham looking to the inside for the number 3 spot. Paulie Colagiovanni has even moved down to the bottom of turn number 4. Looks like that's the spot where a lot of these guys want to be. Kind of surprising, Doug, because as Paul documented before we dropped the green flag, the bottom of the racetrack definitely giving up some grip.
Well, and the thing, too, is eventually you can work that outside so much where it becomes a little too long going around the racetrack. Oh, I thought Colagiovanni was going to hang out for a second, but made that work. That was a nice pass right there.
That's a great move. Now, Tommy Wickham in the 75, the 10 of Paulie Colagiovanni have been teammates over the last few years, so they know each other very well. They know how to race each other, and Colagiovanni is on the move, hanging up on that cushion. Again, turn number 4 has been his weaker spot, but let's see what he does down here in turns number 1 and 2 with the X of Dan Bennett. This for the number 3 spot, and hits the fun button, and he's side by side for a podium position.
Colagiovanni might have learned a lot out there in that B main, as he wasn't this good in his qualifying heat race. Now he's up to 3rd and on the podium.
He's never run a 360 sprint race here at Ransomville. He did run the Outlaw Show last year in September, and that was a very tacky racetrack that night. He is up into 3rd. Battle back right now for the 5th position. He has Tommy Wickham holding off Scott Kruder. So Kruder up to 6th after starting in 19th. A former Patriot Sprint Tour champion back in 2012, trying to go after a 2-time champion in Chuck Heaving, who was about a half a track ahead, just on cruise control up on the top.
Yeah, and then when Heaving gets out front like this sometimes, he can be tough to beat. And right now with working the outside like he is, there's not a lot of people up there right now. And oh, look at that, a car slowing right in front of him, heading to the pit. That was Steve Hutchinson, I believe.
Yes, Hutchinson goes pit side. We stay green, and that's good news for Chuck Heaving.
Well, that caught his attention for a second, I guarantee you that, Rich.
But, you know, that's a situation where, go back about 13, 14 years ago, Chuck Heaving would be on a rail, be the fastest car out there, but could make those mistakes that would get him a DNF. It was either checkers or records was a good piece for him, but he's got 46 career Patriot wins now.
Yeah, and you're right. And he was very aggressive. He used to run modifieds at Land of Legends, where we were at just a little while ago, and he always drove the modified kind of like a sprint car anyway. Look at this action into
Tommy
the
Wickham.
moat.
There's the moat for you, as
That's
he went the
what it
wrong
does.
way, went from 4th back to 6th, and now Scott Kruder's into the top 5, and it looks like a little mud has got up on his onboard camera, but he's going after the exit Dan Bennett. There's Brad Knabb, the lap car. Haven't talked about him. He's making his first start of the season in his familiar number 38. And Kruder's trying to make this bottom line work, but Bennett is wiry right now in the X.
Yeah, he's got to be super excited right now. He's in the top 5 right now at a track. And like you said, normally runs the 305s. But the guy who was really hanging on there was Tommy Wickham. Did you see how sideways that thing got in a hurry when he got in that moat?
Well, you talked about Scott Kruder. He's running some micro sprints. He won an indoor race. I believe it was at Allentown this winter. That was a big win for him. He works at a go-kart track out in Buffalo. And, oh, by the way, he used to run modifieds here at Ransomville before he got into the sprint cars in 2007.
And since we got here, all we've seen is them working on that car as they were struggling on the fuel injection unit.
Oh, look at this. Chuck Heaving around 3-4 lap cars. And he just got around Derek Jonathan, who runs in position number 9 right now. So he's crushing them and coming around to the white flag. As we spoke about a couple times tonight, Chuck Heaving's the only driver in the field that has ever won a sprint car event here at Ransomville. He had 5 or 6, depending on what you want to term for a rain out that happened in 2013. But there's no doubt that here tonight, the dominant force, his 3rd straight win in competition here at the Big R, the Cobra, takes care of it and wins the Patriot Sprint Tour event here at Ransomville.
We're not even close to second place. There it is, over 4.5 seconds for Kyle Drum. And how about Paulie Colagiovanni coming from the dash and up to 3rd place? Scott Kruder, good run for him after working on the car all day. And Dan Bennett, I know he faded a little bit after leading early, but he's got to be happy with the top 5.
Absolutely, his first career top 5 with the Patriot Sprint Tour, but it's the 45 of Chuck Hebing who gets his 2nd win in 3 races with the series this season and will be headed to victory lane. We'll hear from him when we come back.
Whether you're providing power to your outdoor equipment, going on a vacation or camping trip, or ensuring your peace of mind with home standby backup power, there's no limit to the benefits of owning a Champion generator. Use a portable generator or inverter to power your lights and all your major appliances, or use a home standby generator to power your entire home during an outage. The Champion Power Equipment family of generators. Portability, power, and peace of mind.
Reserve your campsite and get your pre-sale tickets online for Hall of Fame weekend at Weedsport Speedway. On Saturday, July 28th, it's the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modified Hall of Fame 100, presented by Beam Max Sales and Service and powered by Page Trucking. On Sunday, July 29th, catch the Craftsman World of Outlaw Sprints and the Empire State Challenge, presented by Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Northern New England. See you at the port for Hall of Fame weekend.
Non-stop action, fierce battles, out-of-your-seat excitement. It's 800 horsepower of ground-shaking racing. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds are coming. Be there to witness the mighty Big Blocks. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds.
The field snake bitten tonight by the Cobra, Chuck Hebing, who scored the win here at Ransomville. He's down in victory lane, so let's go down to Paul and hear from the man of the hour.
Chuck Hebing getting congratulations from Jen Martin down here in victory lane, winner of tonight's Patriot Sprint Tour A-Main. Seemed like it was the cushion moves on the restarts that did the trick.
Yeah, we when we did their draw, I looked at the track and they said they weren't going to cut the curb off of it, so we actually went the opposite direction. Probably everybody in the pits did. I knew I was going to race the curb. I was no good in the middle, but I figured I was going to race the curb, and it worked out well.
Did it get a little hairy there on a couple of those restarts?
Oh yeah, a few times it got a little bit dicey with some lap cars and stuff like that. It's part of it. It's a tight track and you're going to run into trouble, but no, we stayed out of trouble and got a good win on it. Good car. 3
races, 2 wins.
Yeah, I guess I'm not done yet at 54, so these kids got to keep working at it.
All right, congratulations to Chuck Hebing, tonight's Patriot Sprint Tour A-Main winner.
A vintage Chuck Hebing performance, and you know, he says it. There's been some years, Doug, where he was a little lean. 2018 seems like another year of the Cobra.
Boy, it's like a fine wine, just gets better with age, and he is very bold. This was the story early in the race, and a feel-good story. Dan Bennett leading this one early.
And not just to take the lead, but to go out there and manhandle it, and then hold off Kyle Drum for quite a bit. Drum had taken the lead on lap number 4, but the lap could not be completed when Scott Goodrich spun. And I think that hurt Drum from having a chance to win tonight, because as he went for the lead on the bottom on this restart, the Cobra went to the top, 5th to 3rd, and then a lap later would have the lead. This was a great battle up in front.
It really was. And right here, Chuck Hebing was kind of just waiting for that right opportunity, and you could see Drum's car faded a little off that corner, and the next thing you know, here he goes.
And again, Drum committed to the bottom down in turn 1 and 2, and Chuck Hebing able to put it up against the wall, and as he talked about just a moment ago with Paul, knew he was going to be set up to run the cushion up on the top because they were going to grade it off a little bit so it was easier to manhandle. He got out in front, and a lap later had a caution come out when Darrell Ruggles spun, and this was another spot where Kyle Drum had just taken second away, and then the caution would come out. When he would finally get up into spot number 2 around Dan Bennett, but then did not have a caution to reel in Chuck Hebing. And you wonder if that would have been the difference with the 47.
Yeah, I'd love to see the lap times, especially at this point of the race. But you're right, without that caution, not much he could do. Dash winner, Poli Colagiovanni, was fast on the outside, especially late in this race.
Yeah, nice run. Up from 9th to finish in spot number 3, getting around the outside of the X of Dan Bennett. What a battle we had here for 4th as they came in on the lap traffic. Look at the 75 of Tommy Wickham hanging out in the moat, throw a few rocks away. He would fall back to 6th as Scott Kruger got by, actually got up to 4th. But it was all Chuck Hebing setting sail on the rest of the field and picking up his 7th career win here at Ransomville. Let's hear from 2nd place, Kyle Drum.
For Kyle Drum, it's his 3rd runner-up in the past 5 races. Not the top step of the podium, but Cobra was quick tonight.
Yeah, he was. Once he got by me, I knew I was in trouble. But we'll take it. Sick of being a bridesmaid, but we'll take it. We needed this. So.
Seemed like this was a pretty physical race tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was. Running on the top side like that here is always a little bit on edge, but it's fun.
Kyle Drum picks up a runner-up finish tonight.
That is Drum's 3rd runner-up finish here in the last 5 starts. And he knows that it was just Chuck's night.
Yeah, I just got to get Chuck not to come to the race tonight, and I'll be in good shape. Yeah. Good run for Poli Colagiovanni. See him in 3rd. Josh Ozzie won his qualifying heat. He was 17th. And Darrell Ruggles worked his way back up to 9th after the spin.
Yes, but he was a lap down. Only the top 8 drivers there on the board able to finish on the lead lap. Darrell Ruggles and Derek Jonathan, though, rounding out the top 10. You see Alicia Bay in position number 11, a little underpowered on it, so she's got to be pleased with that run. You see through the rest of the field, Scott Just not able to start. His dad David tagged the wall in an incident with Scott Goodrich, and also Stephen Hutchinson not able to finish. Our 3rd place finisher, Poli Colagiovanni, is down with our own Paul.
This Ransomville track is 0.4 of a mile, but Poli Colagiovanni, I think you were running a 5/8 tonight.
Yeah, the car, we definitely improved from the heat. We were struggling a little bit with the setup, so we made a couple quick adjustments, and it kind of worked out in our favor. But I wish I just had a couple more laps. I thought I could get him in lap traffic, but 3rd's pretty good.
Yeah, you were dicing pretty hard there running the outside. It was 2 and 3 wide a couple of times.
Yeah, it was good battling with Tommy and all the Patriot guys. It's fun racing with them a lot.
That's Poli Colagiovanni brings home a 3rd place finish here tonight.
So Victory Lane ceremonies still going on here at the Ransomville Speedway. And Ransomville's got some big shows coming up. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars in here on Friday, July 27th. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds with their Summer Nationals on August the 7th. Always a great show here at Ransomville.
Yeah, very well attended. Long history with that race. And the fans normally see small blocks. They'll get to see the big blocks on that night.
And, of course, we're going to have more racing coming up for you right here on Speedway Showcase. We've got 2 more shows this year. Kicking off with the Sportsman Classic from the Weedsport Speedway.
Great race.
That's coming up next weekend, so check your listing. Should be the same time that you're watching here tonight. And then we'll round out the season at the Genesee Speedway with the Rush Late Models and Grit Sportsmen splitting the showcase.
Looking forward to both those shows. It's going to be a lot of fun, Rich.
Another great night of racing. The Patriots put on always a great show here at Ransomville. What a night it was at the Big R.